5 o'clock on a Friday morning with a live look here at the Eisenhower Johnson tunnels. Ski resorts expected to be busy this weekend with a lot of new snow on the ground and more snow heading our way.
Of course, with all of that new snow, you're going to want to be aware of the current avalanche conditions in the backcountry. Here is a look at an updated map from the Colorado Avalanche Information Center. Most of the state is under considerable danger, but areas near Crested Butte and Telluride are in the red. No travel is permitted in those areas. Good morning. Happy Friday. I'm Corey Rose.
And I'm Drew Carney. Brianna on traffic here in just a second. But let's start with Katie talking about that snow in the mountains and a weekend forecast. It looks pretty good.
The snow state. We have been hoping for this all winter long. And the weekend, if you do have any travel, getting in some fresh turns, clear, sunny. So this morning we have the third of 3 storms rolling into Colorado this week alone. It has brought us some much needed mountain moisture. But again, yes, places like Aspen, Crested Butte, Telluride, all under considerable to high avalanche danger. Heading up to the tunnel right now, you will find some snow covered slick roadways. The snow will continue to intensify over higher terrain. Most of the accumulation west of the divide, but more mountain snow will arrive. And what's different to end the week, the Denver area, we have the chance for seeing some flakes around. It's not going to be a lot of snowfall by any means, but mostly cloudy and a whole lot colder. So if you are getting ready to step out at 5:01, bundle up. It is going to feel like winter time. It's right now 17 degrees. We're watching the storm system swirl in mainly across the western slope. Right now, we're seeing that activity. It'll gradually make its way into the northern Front Range Mountains, further to the east. Here in Denver this morning, it's a fast mover, but winter weather advisories have been posted. These are in place until 11 o'clock this evening. We're anywhere between 4 and even 10 inches up near Rabbit Ears Pass, and then over portions of our San Juan mountain range could see 4 to 10 accumulate. Now, with all the snow that we have seen so far this week, avalanche concerns, as we were just mentioning, with an avalanche warning in effect once again. It's that accumulation on some of those barren slopes and anywhere that's steeper than 30 degrees, backcountry travel where that's posted, not recommended for today. Now, it's 11 degrees only out at Denver International Airport, some single digits across the plains. This morning, mostly cloudy, should stay dry for the morning commute, but after about 10 o'clock, you can see off to the west if you're traveling to the mountains, heavy snow at times, and we'll talk more about the accumulations we're expecting coming up. But Brianna, how are things looking on the roads right now?
Katie, right now it is quiet, especially across the metro area. I-25 at 84th Avenue. We're taking a live look right now from our CDOT cameras. For your Friday morning drive, 5:02 is your time, and you can see its traffic volume is very light. We're not seeing any crashes or overnight construction up and down I-25. We are getting reports that the Lincoln Avenue exit all the way down south along I-25 closed yesterday according to CDOT, so they're asking you please take an alternate route. I want to show you what this looks like on our maps. A lot of green on your screen, so zooming into your drive times real quick. If you're in the Berkeley area taking I-76, you have the green light, should not say yellow. You have the green light. It's only a 4-minute drive this morning. And then southbound I-25, where I just showed you that CDOT camera, heading down south from 144th down to 76, only 8 minutes.
Brianna, thank you. The Adams County Sheriff's Office is upping the reward for any information in a drive-by shooting from 2022 that killed 1 and injured 7 others. 17-year-old Elena Martinez was killed in the shooting. Investigators believe a dark blue early 2000s Chevrolet Tahoe was involved. They found that car abandoned in Aurora shortly after. Yesterday, investigators announced they will up the reward to $5,000 now for any information. If you have a tip, call Denver Metro Crime Stoppers.
The suspect tied to an Amber Alert in Commerce City has been charged. Police say 45-year-old Jeremy Chavez took his 4-year-old son last Friday, and that prompted the alert. According to documents, after taking the child, Chavez stole several cars and led police on 2 separate chases. He then entered a home through the back door, leading to a SWAT situation where he was eventually taken into custody. Family members told police that Chavez was not allowed to have unsupervised contact with the boy because of mental health issues and substance abuse issues. The 4-year-old was found unharmed. Chavez faces several charges at this point, including reckless endangerment and child abuse. He'll be back in court next month.
Quite a few cars were going the wrong way on 13th and 14th Avenue in Denver's East Colfax neighborhood yesterday, except they weren't. The roads used to be one way, but as of Wednesday, they're 2-way. If you missed the change, you aren't the only one. A Denver City Council member says the city's transportation department failed to mention this change, putting people in danger. Councilwoman Chantel Lewis explains the goal was to slow speeding after 2 recent deaths.
Safety was the goal, and the way in which it was executed actually put folks in unsafe conditions.
In a statement to 9 News, Dottie says it communicated with neighborhood groups ahead of time. The department sent out a press release a day after the change was already in place. This traffic change will be permanent.
It's been weeks since a 5-alarm fire destroyed a Denver apartment complex that was under construction over on Leetsdale. A neighboring synagogue that was damaged in that fire is still working to recover. Since the fire, the synagogue had to rip out carpeting, deal with smoke damage and also water damage. They still have no power, which makes it very difficult, obviously, to hold services. The synagogue's president tells 9 News he's not sure how much work still needs to be done.
My best guess, and is my guess only, it's 4 months before we get back.
While the reconstruction continues, Temple Emmanuel has opened up its doors to the synagogue's congregation.
As Colorado braces for a surge in data centers driven by the artificial intelligence boom, lawmakers are advancing competing bills that could determine how those facilities expand in the state. One proposal would require large data centers to match 100% of their electricity use with renewable energy. Another measure would offer a 100% state sales and use tax exemption to companies investing at least $250 million in a Colorado data center. We spoke to the Colorado Climate Policy Director for the National Resource Defense Council and the Weld County Commissioner. They have differing opinions about these bills.
To ensure that these massive new energy users don't derail Colorado's transition to clean energy.
I think this is a personal backhanded way of saying we don't want data centers here because we're going to make it essentially impossible to power those up here in Colorado.
Both bills were just introduced. Neither have been voted on so far.
Colorado Mesa University is expanding its geothermal heating and cooling system. The expansion will increase the thermal energy network's capacity by about 50% and connect to buildings still under construction, including a new dining hall, housing, and existing buildings on campus. The project aims to lower the university's carbon footprint and make energy production more efficient. By consuming fewer kilowatt hours, the system will lead to lower costs for the university.
If we keep our operating costs low, that translates into our ability to keep our tuition at one of the lowest tuitions per credit hour for any institution of higher ed in the state of Colorado.
The university in Grand Junction has used geothermal technology for over 15 years now, and they say they've saved $12 million on energy costs since the network's implementation. This project is scheduled for completion before commencement in May.
Leaders in Castle Rock are asking Douglas County schools not to move their headquarters outside of the town. The school district says it is considering it because maintaining the historic building that they're currently in costs a significant amount of taxpayer dollars. The district says it has to address significant issues, things like accessibility, leaks, as well as heating and cooling in this building. The district estimates addressing all of it in a building that's more than 100 years old would run to $10 to $20 million. They're weighing whether to bring the building up to code or consolidate most or all of their central staff into one building. Currently, they have employees in at least 7 other spots. Castle Rock Mayor Jason Gray sent a letter to the district this week asking what town leaders can do to help them avoid the move. The partial government shutdown over the Department of Homeland Security funding seems like it's ready to drag on.
Yeah, keeps going, keeps going. Lawmakers and the White House offering no signs of compromise at this point. Some federal employees are now working without pay, while the Department of Homeland Security is in a shutdown, all because of Democrats' demands to reform ICE and Border Patrol tactics.
All is back in the court of the White House because they have our most recent response.
The White House is calling that proposal unserious. A growing number of Democratic lawmakers, meanwhile, planning to boycott the president's State of the Union address coming up on Tuesday. Instead, they plan to join a counter-programming rally.
The U.S. military could be ready to strike Iran as early as this weekend. Top administration national security officials reportedly met yesterday in the White House Situation Room to discuss military action in the country. It comes as military assets have been building up in the Middle East. The president has hinted at wanting regime change in Iran. CNN says a final decision on whether a strike will take place has not been made.